You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am now joined by the president of the Yoruba World Congress, YWC, Tajuddin Rahim, for discussion on Tinubu's victory and the prospect of growth in Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much for having me tonight.
All right. Now, let's start with the president-elect. What do you think Nigerians stand to gain from a Tinubu presidency?
A lot that we all are going to gain. Number one, I want to seize the opportunity to thank every region that actually came together to give Asiwaju Bola Ahmed all the support to make him the next president of Yoruba or Nigeria. And of course, we Yoruba, we're so happy that not just only we in the Yoruba in Yoruba as section that gave him our vote, but quite a number of our people in the north and in the south as well. So we thank everyone, and we know for sure when he gets there, he has done it before in Lagos, and he will definitely do it all over Nigeria.
All right. So, as a stakeholder, what is the prospect of Tinubu's victory for business in the country?
All right, now we're talking about a man that is one of the best accountants and trained by Deloitte and Touche, yeah, and he has worked in the oil sector before for a very long time. And when it comes to the governance, his contribution in Lagos, yeah, that is a very good track record in which everyone can actually rely on. And we believe we can now actually bring that experience into the larger space to everyone. Yeah.
With all of these good attributes you have mentioned, why do you think many people and groups are still opposing the emergence of Tinubu as president-elect?
Well, we have been saying this for a very long time. When you ask most people to come out and say what exactly this man has done, they've not been able to come out to say, this is what he has done for them. And we are also telling, especially from the Southwest region, and you will permit me to say this, why are people coming out in such a way that is actually bringing a kind of discord, especially among the Yoruba people? We, the Yoruba World Congress, we've made it clear to everyone. We have made our own investigation to find out that what exactly this man has done. Nothing. And it is about time for every Yoruba elders, and I'm seizing this opportunity to call upon the Afeniferes, Yoruba Council of Elders. Of course, quite a number of organizations, they've been on this journey with us. And I cannot not to talk about Akabi Tinubu, how much work he has put in this to call the old Yorubas. And of course, Onikoyi, Tomori Wules, and quite a number of Agbekoya. They are all rallying out to make this man the next president of Nigeria. And how come other people actually to put a blame that is not of him on him? And so we're calling all of our youth, not just only in Yoruba land and other parts of Nigeria, to actually see the very good thing that this man can bring onto the table that will benefit every Nigerian. Thank you.
All right. The presidential election has come and gone, and I would like to ask you, what next is governance? And what do you think should be the focus of the president-elect after inauguration, Mr. Rahim?
Yeah, number one, because we all tend to want to put the whole work on him. Why not we, the citizens, to now ask ourselves, how do we want to be a support to him? Number one, let every region come up with something that they can actually use to benefit this government. And we are pushing from Southwest that there should be a restructuring. And we are expecting the West region to actually embrace that initiative. We're also asking that we should also support that means of security, everlasting security that we can actually have in the country. Not that one area is safe and the rest are, in the hands of hoodlums. No. How can we actually help him to achieve this security? And we know that we've already put in 11 requests. And we know that he will look at it. Those 11 requests, if I have to start talking about it, the time will not permit me here. But it's not just only for the West Yoruba world alone, but the rest region can actually adopt these 11 requests and see how they can make use of it to benefit themselves. And if each region are getting better, definitely the whole country will, benefit from it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Rahim, before we went on that break, you were talking about restructuring, but to put this into proper perspective, are you in any way saying the Yorubas have been marginalized?
I will say yes, politically, and I will say yes, economically, because for the past some decades now, we now realize everything that was built in the name of Oduduwa investment has already disappeared. Think of it. The very first port authority were not built by Nigeria or Western region, which is a very good thing. The North actually, they developed their own economic structure, which really flourished then. And even in the East, we are actually saying that if this country is not restructured, and then allow a healthy competition among the region, there's definitely some people will think that they've been marginalized. But however, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with his track record, and he knows how to bring everyone all together. But how can he do that? We, the citizen, we have to have that confidence that we belong to a place, that we are not being marginalized. But right now, as I am speaking, and in the mind of what number of Yoruba people, yes, we felt, yes, something is not right here politically. But now, it is a good thing that some other people, they promise bring the power back to the South. Yes, because they now realize that if it doesn't happen, other people will feel very much marginalized. So that's why we think, yes, we're in the right path now. And this man, come on end of May, he will be, sworn in, and then we will now, get to work and make sure that, yes, the interests of each region are being put on the table. Politically, we want to be part of it. Economically, we want to actually tell the leader to say, look, this is what we need in our own region. And there is nothing wrong by saying that, because what number of people come to me and they ask me, what is your language in Nigeria? I say, well, Nigeria hasn't got any language except the nation that are in Nigeria. And when you're talking about those nations, of course, we have Arewa nation, we have Igbo nation, we have Yoruba nation, and many more. So why do we have to just completely deny the fact that these are the real, nations within that country, and would they have their own interest? But each time we want to deny the fact that there are nations within the country, that's where the problem, arises. But at this point in time, we are calling all of our own brothers, even the Arewa, the Eastern region, that they should look into those 11 requests to see how it can benefit them. If I can build my own power generating unit in our region, it It doesn't have to be a federal government business. It has to be a regional thing. And let Eastern region do the same. Definitely the North will do that same thing. Let us create a kind of environment whereby an healthy competition can actually flourish. And that is who we are. And that's where we should come back to. Thank you.
All right, so that leads me to my next question. As the president of the Yoruba World Congress, what does a Tinubu presidency hold for the Yoruba people?
Yes, you have to realize it's not just Yoruba president now. He's going to be the president of the country, yeah. But for us, number one thing is the security that we want him to actually bring uh, to the whole country. Because especially we Yorubas, we felt the pain of that insecurity in the last 4, 6 years. He has been there. In fact, he was at uh, uh, Akure when we lost our sister, the daughter of Yoruba leader, Ferry. And of course, at the end of the day, we now realize that, yes, they were, he was killed by these hoodlums. Yeah. And not to talk of so many families, especially from diaspora that came into Nigeria and that was, they were kidnapped. We don't want that. There is no how that, especially people in the diaspora, can actually come back home and invest if there is no security. We are saying what we think is affecting our region. If other region can be saying the same thing, so that means we sing in the same song. So we want a security, one. Two, we want an environment whereby a business can actually flourish. And these points are the point that we Yoruba World Congress are actually, bringing onto the table to the president-elect to say, look at it, and let us see how we can work it out.
All right, Mr. Rahim, let me get you to react to some other issues. The governorship election is 3 days away, and there is so many focus on Lagos. Why this?
Yes, why this? I thank you for saying why this. Is the same thing I am asking myself, and quite a number of people calling me. Why is it that people want to take over Lagos from the indigenous people? It is uncalled for. And that is one of the reasons why I actually, I released a press release last week, whereby I call upon every Yoruba woman, and not only just the Yoruba people, but people that actually believe in Yoruba ideology and our way of life. You should not come in to the space of certain people and then not have respect for it. No, it should not happen. What has happened during the NSAS is not a reason for people to now think they can just throw their ancestral home away. So therefore, we Yoruba World Congress, we are solely behind Sanwo-Olu. And we know that he has gone through a lot, especially during the COVID period, how he survived it and how he has still been able to put in all those projects in Lagos, despite of all the challenges. So now, we don't want people to come into our space and be calling it a no man's land. And so, therefore, we seize the opportunity to call everyone to stand and do the needful within the Yoruba space. Thank you.
All right, so because of time, let me quickly have you talk about this. Let's talk about security. How best do you think the president-elect should handle this?
The president-elect has been able to secure Lagos for how many decades now? And the president-elect knows quite well that when the country flourishes economically people will stop attacking other people. It is because things went, south. And he understand, ebi ò kí ń wọnú kọ́rọ̀ míì ó wọ̀, as they say in Yoruba. And now he will now look into each every region and look into our borders, the porous borders. Who are these people who are coming into the country, killing the innocent people, all sort of things like that. Not only within other ethnic groups, but we will also look into ourselves as well. So I believe by the time the kind of plan he has in Lagos that has been keeping Lagos safe, he can actually implement the same thing across the remaining states. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Rahim, what's the relationship between your organization, Yoruba World Congress, and other Yoruba groups like Afenifere and the likes?
Yoruba World Congress, we actually came after our father's organization, Afenifere. The difference is that when we came out of them, it was organization that we actually came out based on a self-determination. And that is the fact, because things were going really bad. Yoruba lost their voice, and we don't believe that we are part of what is going on in the country. So therefore, we need to, find a way to get ourselves out. And we also said, yes, there can be Yoruba nation within the context of Nigeria. But Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu changed the whole narrative. And the reason is that he came and he said, if really it can be the time of the Yoruba people to rule, of course, the things that made us to be marginalized, we put it in place. Yes, we won't have any reason anymore. But Afenifere, they still remain like the parent organization. But in the last few months, we've not been happy with what is going on there. And that is why we Yoruba World Congress, we stepped in to be the voice where the Yoruba people stand. We don't have any problem with the some part of Yoruba, Afenifere, they actually supported Labour Party, while other part they supported Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But it should not be that, because we are a social group of a particularly an ethnic group. So our scope remain and our interests remain for the what the Yoruba people want. And we don't want to be too political, but the interest of the Yoruba people is what we, take as very, very important to us. Thank you.
All right. I've been speaking with the president of the Yoruba World Congress, YWC, Tajuddin Rahim. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective with us on Tinubu's victory and the prospect of growth in Nigeria. It is indeed a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.